Okay, welcome everybody to Mythstorie After Dark. This is our 5th episode. We've made it a whole month. Thank you for joining me. This week we're talking about fairies. So Mythstorie After Dark is a complimentary piece to a weekly recorded podcast called Mythstorie that deals with myths, history, and how they intersect and why we keep telling these ancient stories over and over again. So this week our recorded podcast will be dealing with fairies. We're going to be delving into Midsummer Night's Dream and kind of the back history of particularly fairy tales from the British Isles. So this evening we're going to be, well, I'm going to be exploring the medieval ballad of Tam Lin. Get my notes up here. By the way, well, actually, I'm not sure how this is going to work tonight. I've got a lot of windows open. I'm going to try to keep an eye out for your questions and comments. If you've joined the Facebook watch party on my personal page, that's how you can message me directly. If you're watching on the Mythstorie page, that's great. We're welcome to have you, but I can't see your comments or anything like that. So I'm going to try to keep an eye on you all while I'm reading. Tam Lin is a ballad, and I'm going to try to sing it this evening. So get my notes up here. So Tam Lin is what they call a child ballad. It's from the Scottish borderlands. It dates back to as early as 1549, so this is from the medieval period. Francis James Child collected 14 variants of Tam Lin in his 1882 publication, The English and Scottish Popular Ballads. So if you've heard the expression child ballad before, it's because they were collected by this man, Francis James Child. I didn't know that until just recently. I've been using the phrase child ballad for years, not knowing that it actually referred to the man who collected them. Really cool. This ballad is associated with a Scottish reel of the same name, commonly known as the Glasgow reel. And modern readers may notice that the story of Tam Lin is quite feminist and pro-choice. This is this really old, over 500-year-old story, but it's got this really strong heroine. Janet is usually what she's called in these stories. She's a woman of action. She takes control of her own fate in her own body and takes on the world of fairies to save the man that she loves. So before we get into Tam Lin, I'm going to kind of give you an overview of the story because there's some old language in here and you might not be able to follow the story if I just read the original text. So I'm going to give you kind of an overview of kind of the plot and summary of Tam Lin. So the ballad begins with a warning. Beware those who travel to Carterhow. A young man lives there who will steal your possessions or the virginity of any maidens who travel there. A young woman named Janet travels to Carterhow and plucks a double rose. Interesting symbol. Tam Lin appears, he's an elfish knight, and asks why she has come without his leave and taken a blossom that belongs to him. She says that she owns Carterhow because her father gave it to her. When she returns home, she discovers that she is pregnant. She tells her family that the baby's father is an elvish knight and she will not give him up. She returns to Carterhow and plucks another double rose to summon Tam Lin. In some of the other versions of this ballad, she picks an herb that is intended to bring on an abortion. But Tam Lin intercedes, insisting that he help her raise the child in a loving household. She asks him if he was ever human, and he confesses that yes, he was once human. One day he fell from his horse and he was caught by the Queen of Fairies and imprisoned by her. And he says that every 7 years the fairies give one of their own as a tithe to hell, and Tam Lin fears that he himself will be sacrificed this very night, which is Halloween. So this is a great Halloween story as well. He tells Janet that he will ride as part of a company of 11 knights, and she will know him because he will be riding a white horse. Janet must pull him down off his horse and catch him as the Queen of Fairies once did. And the fairies will attempt to trick her by turning Tam Lin into an assortment of monstrous forms, but he insists that she hold on tight, that these forms will not harm her. Finally, once he turns into a burning coal, she's to throw him into a well where he will transform back into a mortal man. That night, Janet does as she is asked and wins her true love from the bonds of fairy. The Queen of Fairies is angered, but acknowledges that Janet beat her fairly. All right. window open here. I see my wife. All right, here we go, guys. I'm going to attempt to sing the Ballad of Tam Lin. I did a little practice run earlier. Went okay. We'll see how it goes. I hope the audio is good. Oh, I forbid you maidens all that wear gold in your hair to come or go by Counter Hall, for young Tam Lin is there. There's none that goes by Counter Hall, but they leave him a pledge, either the rings or green mantles, or else their maidenhead. Janet has kilted her green kirtle a little above her knee, and she has braided her yellow hair a little above her brow, and she's away to Counter How as fast as she can go. When she came to Counter Hall, Tam Lin was at the well, and there she found his steed standing, but he was away himself. She had not pulled a double rose, but only two, till up then started young Tam Lin, saying, "Lady, pull thou no more." "Why pullest thou the rose, Janet, and why breakest thou wand? Or why comest through to Counter Hall withouten my command?" "Counter Hall, it is my own, my daddy gave it to me. I'll come and go by Counter Hall, and ask no leave of thee." Janet was kilted her green kirtle a little above her knee, and she was braided her yellow hair a little above her brow, and she is to her father's house as fast as she can go. 24 ladies fair were playing at the ball, and out then came the fair Janet, the flower among them all. 24 ladies fair were playing at the chess, and out then came the fair Janet, as green as any glass. Out then spake an old grey knight, lay over the castle wall, and says, "Alas, fair Janet, for thee, but we'll be blamed all." "Hold your tongue, you old-faced knight, some ill death may you die. Father my babe on whom I will, I'll father none on thee." Out then spake her father dear, and he spake meek and mild, and ever, alas, sweet Janet, he says, "I think thou goest with child." "If that I go with child, father, myself must bear the blame. There's never a lord about your hall shall give the child a name. If my love were an earthly knight, though he's an elfin grey, I would not give my own true love for any lord that ye have. The steed that my true love rides on is lighter than the wind. With silver he has shod before, with burning gold behind. Janet has kilted her green kirtle a little above her knee, and she has braided her yellow hair a little above her brow, and she's away to Counter Hall as fast as she can go. When she came to Counter Hall, Tam Lin was at the well, and there she found his steed standing, but he was away himself. She had not pulled a double rose, but only two, till up then started young Tam Lin, saying, "Lady, pull thou no more. Why pullest thou the rose, Janet, among the grove so green, and all to kill the bonny babe that we got us between?" "Oh, tell me, Tam Lin," she says, "for his sake that died on tree, if ever ye were in holy chapel, or Christendom did see. Roxburgh, he was my grandfather, took me with him to bide, and once it fell upon a day that woe did me betide. And once it fell upon a day, a cold day and a snell, windy and sharp when we were there, hunting from the combe, that from my horse I fell. The Queen of Fairies she caught me in yon green hill to dwell. And pleasant is the fairy land, but an eerie tale to tell. At the end of every 7 years we pay a tithe to hell. And I am so fair and firm of flesh, I'm feared it be myself. But the night is Halloween, lady, the morn is Hallowday. Then win me if ye will, for well I think ye may. Just at the murk and midnight hour, the fairy folk will ride, and they that would their true love win, at Miles Cross they must bide. But how shall I thee know, Tam Lin, or how my true love know? Among so many uncouth knights, the like I never saw. Oh, first let pass the black lady, and then let pass the brown. But quickly run to the milk-white steed, pull ye rider down. For I'll ride on the milk-white steed, and ride nearest the town. Because I was an earthly knight, they give me that renown. My right hand will be gloved, lady, my left hand will be bare. Cocked up shall my bonnet be, and combed down shall be my hair. And there's the token I give thee, no doubt I will be there. They'll turn me in your arms, lady, a lizard and an adder, but hold me fast and fear me not, I am your child's father. They'll turn me to a bear so grim, and then a lion bold, and hold me fast and fear me not, and ye shall love your child. Again they'll turn me in your arms to a red-hot brand of iron, but hold me fast and fear me not, I'll do you no harm. And last they'll turn me in your arms into the burning torch, then throw me into well water, or throw me in with speed. And then I'll be your own true love, I'll turn a naked knight, then cover me with your green mantle, and hide me out of sight. Gloomy, gloomy was the night, and eerie was the way, as fair Jenny in her green mantle to Miles Cross did she go. At the murk and midnight hour she heard the bridles sing. She was as glad at that as any earthly thing. First she let the black pass by, and then she let the brown, but quickly she ran to the milk-white steed, and pulled the rider down. So well she minded what he did say, and young Tam Lin did win, then covered him with her green mantle, as happy as a bird in spring. Out then spake the Queen of Fairies, out of a bush of broom, she that has gotten young Tam Lin has gotten a stately groom. Out then spake the Queen of Fairies, and an angry woman was she. Shame betide her air-filled face, and an ill death may she die, for she's taken away the bonniest knight in all of my company. But had I known Tam Lin, she said, what now this night I see, I would have taken out those 2 grey eyes and put it in a tree. And that's the end. So, I would have taken out thy 2 grey eyes and put in 2 of tree, like basically blind him, leave him with wooden eyes. So this Queen of Fairy, we're going to see her again on Wednesday with our new podcast. We're going to explore William Shakespeare's treatment of the Queen of Fairy. Midsummer Night's Dream is really interesting. It's kind of it's later than this piece, and he's kind of Shakespeare's pulling from these centuries of these fairy stories that we'll talk a little bit about their origins as well. But he kind of codifies them, and he creates this kind of royal family of fairy in Midsummer Night's Dream. It's a lot of fun. So I hope you check out our podcast on Wednesday. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you consume your podcasts. We'll have a new episode for you on Wednesday. Oh, thank you for the comments, guys. Tune in next week. I think next week we're doing sea monsters, if I'm not mistaken. So if you have any ideas for... One thing we try to do here at Mythstorie After Dark is read from the primary sources. During the podcast, we kind of do a digest of a lot of these stories, and there's a lot of discussion, but Mythstorie After Dark is about really digging into these primary sources. So tonight we're reading this ancient ballad. Next week I'll be talking about maybe some ancient sea monster stories. So I might be reading from Moby Dick. I might be reading about the origins of Scylla. I'm not sure yet. So if you have any suggestions, hit us up on Mythstorie. We're always open to suggestion. I know we've had a lot of requests for the story of Orpheus, and I can let you a little insight here. We are working on that. So stay tuned. We've got lots of great new myths and stories in history with Mythstorie After Dark. Thank you, everybody. Good night.